and I'm wanting to know your thoughts on the profitability between residential versus commercial clients, and are there any particular benefits or negatives to doing either besides margin or profitability?
Okay, the last part is what mixes up, right? Because what my answer was going to be originally was I just care about my hourly rate, and if I can get that on a large property like commercial or HOA, I could care less versus a residential, as long as I can get that rate. And typically it's harder to do that, but you can find especially property managers that are willing to pay a bit of a premium and you're able to maintain that same hourly rate. Typically it's harder to do that because you're competing with larger businesses that have the equipment, manpower, and crew size to be able to get these properties done so much faster because they're buying $15,000 and $20,000 mowers and you're not, right? And so, or they got 4 guys all on $14,000, $15,000 mowers and you don't have that, right? So that's where it gets challenging is from a pricing perspective. Now let's assume that you're able to get the same price on a commercial property as you would on residential from a man-hour rate using the same equipment. All things considered, everything's equal. Then it's a matter of what kind of business do you want to build, right? Do you want to build a business that has more contract-based, 12-month revenue? That's going to be commercial, but you're going to have to probably hire as you scale up. How big do you want to get? Like, that's my first question.
Well, that's really it. I guess I really need to focus on what my vision is for the future. I see myself being a 3 to 4 truck size company. That's being about it. Maybe having a working GM work for me. And then eventually that's like the kind of ideal point that I want to be, where I can step out of the company and not have my entire life consumed by it.
Right.
I'm not sure about that.
So based upon that, I would generally say that's going to be difficult to do in commercial, mostly because the type of GM you're going to need to hire is going to be more of like not a project manager, but an account manager. They're going to be able to be more buttoned down. They're going to have to be really good at sales because they're going to be going into commercial accounts, property managers, site inspections. They're going to be very organized with checklists, especially if you're doing larger accounts. I'm not saying you shouldn't do those, but what I personally would probably recommend, if your goal is 3 to 4 trucks and hiring a general manager, finding someone that can manage 3 or 4 trucks is going to be easier if you're doing smaller properties. There's less sales, like the sales cycle is faster, and and in the perfect world, you have more price flexibility. I can raise prices by 20, 30% on residential mowing customers and usually lose less than 10% of my customers. The same is more difficult to say that about commercial. And so I'm not saying you shouldn't do it.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the perspective. If you're going to have 3 or 4 trucks, that tells me you're probably not going to be having massive, 20-foot trailers with massive zero turns with crews of 4 people in each of those trucks. And so that's going to be probably hard to compete with the guys that do. What I would say though is what you could also do is be the guy that can focus on smaller commercial and make the numbers make sense. Because there are properties that are, $1,000, $1,500 a month in revenue that the big guys don't even want to touch. They're too small for them. They can't send their massive truck with 4 guys to it. It's a waste of time and money. And so what I would say is go ahead and build the recurring maintenance for on the residential side. And then as the commercial comes to you, and if it's coming to you at the same rate, just go for it. And then you might find a niche that you can go into and get more revenue and more customers at that same rate. But I wouldn't actively, knowing that your intention is 3 to 4 trucks and handing the off to a general manager and not having to deal with anything, I would say avoid the complexity and the size of operation unless it falls into your lap and you somehow are able to make the math work. That's just typically a longer cycle. Like, I think in 3 years, you could build what you're thinking if you go more residential and small commercial, $1,500, $2,000 a month or less in monthly contract value. I think that could potentially take 5 or 6 years if you're going the commercial route, where each of these trucks are going to be bigger. You're going to need bigger equipment, more maintenance, and you're going to need to have a higher level of sophisticated general manager to run the sales and operations for the company.